morning. Welcome back to another pre-market analysis live stream. This is Franco with Trading Futures Live. And in this video, we will talk about the market context for today's trading session. So today is September 8th. Let's go over the schedule real quick. Let's go. We're gonna check the economic news. Powell's gonna speak at 9:10. Then Christine Lagarde, and we will talk about the ECB later. The dollar index, we're gonna review what happened yesterday and what we expect today. What about the bond yields? What they did yesterday and what we expect today. The VIX, crude oil, which is very important right now for today's macroeconomic environment. We'll see what happened yesterday and our expectation for today is on the ES and Q and RTY. And I want to just real quick go over Apple stock. So with that, let's go over the charts. Let's go over, the economic news. So the ECB surprised with a rate hike higher than expected. We were expecting 0.5% and they raised rates 0.75. They're suffering a good amount of inflation as we are. I think they're in a worse shape than we are right now. But yeah, they felt the need to hike higher. Then we have here the continued jobless claim. The initial jobless claim came better than expected, but still the continued jobless claim is staying higher than the target, right? I don't think this thing has a high impact in the markets unless we have like a very high surprise or a very low surprise. But other than that, I don't even think this will impact too much to the market right now. Unemployment is a white elephant. It moves very slow until it moves very fast. But I don't expect any movement here for the next few months. Then we will have the ECB conference about their rate hike. Then Fed, the chair Powell speaks at 9:10. It's before market open, so we might be hearing this video while he is speaking. And then we will have Christine Lagarde. The president of the ECB has a lot of influence in the dollar, like because the dollar index is composed 53% by the euro. This speaker will move the euro, so I want to be aware of that. And then we have some crude oil's numbers coming later. This usually comes on Wednesday, but since we had a holiday on Monday, we have the report coming out today. All right, so with that, what the schedule says. So the schedule's all right. So let's go over the dollar index. All right, here's the chart that we had yesterday. I was expecting the dollar to continue to go up from 110, 187 to 384, and I said, well, if this zone fails, I think I will lose a trade, and that was the case. I took a losing trade when the dollar was in this area, and the market continued to go up. Right? I did not have any other like good support on the dollar along this move up. I did have it here. This zone has been there since I think last week. Last week? Yeah, I think last week. All right, let's go over the 30-minute. And here you can see clearly we came here, we violated the zone, we attempted to hold this. But ultimately, these pivots failed and the dollar came down. Now, I do have this. I don't have a good location on this one, but nevertheless, is an area that already worked and is continued to work. It's continue working right now, right? So it's holding. Let me move the chart a little bit so you can watch better. All right, it's holding so far. So it would all depend on Powell's peak if this area actually is gonna continue to hold or is going to fail. If this area holds, I do think these pivots here are gonna create some sort of a resistance, and if we ultimately violate this, then we can look for a continuation to the upside, right? I want to say this more realistic like this. All right, so this is my move. If the dollar continues to go down, which is a possibility because we have a lot of news coming out from Europe, I think this will be the other scenario here, and the retest actually to these pivots. And I'll tell you, if this thing continues to go down, we do have these pivots here. This is London Open, so this pivot is very important right here. This pivot is very important, and this is US Open. This is UFX markets open. I mean, today there we go. Oh my god, I keep drawing these charts right here, but I want you to see this better, right? Okay, cool. So that's my point of view with the dollar. If we break the white line, this pivot's created on Asia and the London Open, which I don't think is very likely. But if we break them to the upside, then it retains the continuation to this supply of mine. If we break to the downside, then we have this area of demand that coincides with these pivots. It's already tested, right? And I want to point out that probably this might have happened yesterday and I didn't pay attention to it. That's the reality. I made a mistake here. These two pivots were good, right? Until we use them. So we use them here and we attempted to keep going higher, but we faced supply and the dollar started to collapse, and now having the expectation for this thing to rework, it's not easy. So I did have that expectation and it took a toll on me. I lost the trade. All right, so that's the scenario for the dollar today. Let's keep going. All right, let's go over the bond yields. All right, I said white line is some sort of, this is the daily chart, by the way. White line is resistance that I have there. I don't have any good supply that I could rely on right here. Let me shrink this and move this chart right here so we can. So I don't have a good supply right here. It's more like a resistance point. Like this pivot, but this supply right here, it was created at like noon or in the afternoon. So I don't like this. If you ask me, probably here is 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 9:30. There we go. I think we didn't come to this line. So if you ask me where the supply might be, I would say 3.4 or 3.38. But this resistance nevertheless is working so far. I do think we are in a very bullish environment for bond yields. So I do expect this thing to continue to go up. If this thing continues to go up, I think we will continue to reprice all assets, right? All right, crude oil. Crude oil is, oh no, VIX. Let's go over the VIX. Obviously, we had a collapse on the VIX yesterday. We haven't broken these highs. It's very curious to me that we haven't broken to the upside. I was expecting this thing to just continue to 29, but it has a lot of resistance right here. Yesterday we didn't even try to get to the white line. Now we're back to the other white line. This is the other support that I have. It's 24.91 and is working for now. Now we will have some movement here. So I just watch this pre-market. I don't follow it real time, but I think because this is a derivative, this thing just derived from what the market is doing. So this move because of the market, not the other way around, right? So there are two likely scenarios: come back here, or just with Powell's speech, just continue to go down. And of course, this is very obvious, right? So that's why I don't pay too much attention to it. If I go down to the 30-minute candle, I would say here, what time is this? 10 in the morning, there we go. 25.75 might be a supply that the VIX has here. If the VIX get to this and we have a good demand on the equity market, so it might be a good setup to the long side. All right, so that's all for the VIX. On the demand side, I really don't have anything. Like, I think here, and to come down here is 23.50. It's a long way there. All right, crude oil. Crude oil, that we were talking for days, did not hold this pivot, and now came to my demand area. Is at 82.23 and is holding very nicely right here. Now the market just opened. Let's see what happens today with the crude oil inventories. But if this demand is valid, which I think is valid, I think we might have a movement up to at least 87. It might not happen today, and it might chop around a little bit. And then come back up, right? I think an $80 a barrel or $3 a gallon is something that we have digested already. It's yet to see what is going to happen fundamentally in the economy, but I think there are some demands right here. So this one is pretty strong. For me, it's a pretty strong demand because after that, I just have 73. That's almost 10% will be 70, 75. Yeah, it'll be like 12-15%. So this is my next area. There we go. All right, so crude oil is holding pretty nicely here. Let's see how it goes today. If with the crude oil inventories we continue to go up, I think 86 is very likely. It might not happen today. It might happen between today and tomorrow or next week. So let's see. All right, with that, let's go. Oh, metals. I'm not paying attention to metals lately. I was in the past, but not anymore. They're all just depending on the dollar. And yeah, it's basically flat. Like gold hasn't moved in a week. Silver has moved a little bit. Like it is fluctuating, but I'm not following them too much. But they're basically flat today, so we don't have anything spectacular there. All right, let's go over the ES. All right, let's start with the daily candle. We did have a super bullish move yesterday. I was talking about the market being so oversold, and we might have a retracement. We haven't had a green day on the Nasdaq for 7 trading days or something. So that move up was kind of like expected, right? By the way, I didn't capitalize on it. I took a short. I took 2 shorts yesterday. I had 1 break even and 1 losing trade. It was hard for me psychologically to try to jump into this trend yesterday. It was the retracement were very shallow. I wasn't feeling good mentally to just put a trade on very high on the curve. All right, so the ES broke to the upside. Now it's coming back to the supply that I had, and like you all guys know, I do like to trade this type of setup. So we broke to the upside. We didn't have a solid break. As a matter of fact, this supply zone that is being tested 1, 2, 3 times hasn't been tested yet, like retested. So do I think this supply will work? Not really, but it's right there. So until it's broken, we have to consider it, right? I don't want to take a long at 96 when this thing is 406. That's what I mean. Okay. I will not take this supply, or at least not limit order. I will have to wait if I have some formations being created in the trading session, and then I will put a trade based on that. Now I do have, if the market holds right here, because Powell is speaking, and Powell will speak in 5 minutes. I do have this conspiracy theory that price is taken to key levels before news, right? Mysteriously. That is something that I believe. So right now the ES is coming to a key level, right? This was my supply that worked Tuesday. Then we had a rejection to the downside. Now we broke it to the upside. That's a perfect break and retest. If Powell's speech holds this demand, then we might have this, and we can look for a retracement during the trading session and a continuation, right? If this thing does not hold, it doesn't have to come to here, because I do have some demand created yesterday, right? If this thing does not hold, we have some demand created yesterday around here, and this is 10 a.m. Let's go down in time frame. Yeah, I do think all this area is I think it's massive. It's too big, but that's what I will pay attention to. Okay, so that's the ES. So I care about this pivot and this supply, this demand areas, starting like in 39.30, somewhere around there. Now I think if this thing holds, is because of Powell speaking positively about the economy. But lately, the last Powell speech was awful for the market. It just moved the market to the downside big time. I think they're playing games, because Master yesterday talked and this happened. Now Powell is speaking today. Let's see what happens today, if they have a coherent speech. So it's 2 more minutes for the speech to come out. All right, let's go over the NQ. All right, NQ, we did have this we did have this demand here for days, so we broke to the downside and we attempted to make it work, meaning sellers were active in this area. Right now, what I do expect now is buyers to be active in this area. Not the same buyers, but the same sellers that were here, and they're underground. They're like underwater here with their position. They might try to bail out right here, right? And this coincides with the market open right here, rally-based rally on the 30-minute. If I want to come to a 5 minutes, I do have the same information from the ES right here. Actually, I do like this one. So let me get rid of this one. I do like all this area. It includes part of the pre-market, then 9:30 open, and then a test at 10. Beautiful, right? Coincides with this pivot here, right here. That's a long opportunity. Now, when I say that's a long opportunity, it doesn't mean that this thing will go to all-time highs from this area. This is not even a continuation pattern because the trend is down, right? The overall trend on the daily is down. So we might have a tradable reaction right here for a quick 2, 3, 4 to 1. So long position. There we go. Like this. And I would say up to here. It's 2.5 to 1. If you want to risk the entire area, right? This is an area in 5 minutes. It's massive. It's 75 points. I don't do that in my day trading strategy. I do 500 volume bar zones. That give me like 15 points or 20 points max zone wide width. Sorry. So I will have to look in the 500 share bar what is here. You can join me on the trading session. I will be doing that later today. If we do have areas here, then we will try the long. All right, so I want to know if Powell is speaking. I don't see anything. Powell speech live. There you go. Oh, Christine Lagarde is talking on Bloomberg. Yeah. Oh, it's ECB. Is an ECB press conference. All right. So that's all I have for the Nasdaq regarding supply. I do have 462. That's very far. It might come into play today, but it's not very likely. If we have a retest of this overnight, right? If we have, because this is London Open, if we do have some retest on the or the overnight London Open zone 293, I will have to wait for a area being created on the 500 volume bar. I don't want to just jump into this thing and wait for it to work, especially when it's a supply zone and created overnight. All right, so that's the NQ. All right, let's go over the Russell. I don't like to draw too much on the Russell. We didn't touch the demand. We went through this supply area that I had. So this for me, give me some information, right? So every time we move down, we tried to test pivots, strong pivots created, right? But we didn't here. So we might have a trend change. Not yet, is not yet confirmed, but we might have a trend change right here. And I want to say like, all right, every time we move down, we do it in steps, right? Or bear flags, like we came down, retracement down, retracement down, retracement down, retracement down. Now we're trying to break to the upside. Let's see how this goes, right? It's trying to fight here the downtrend. Okay, this is a very important area where it's bouncing. If you guys see, we had this pivot, we have this pivot, we have this pivot. So this is a very, very conflicting area. Look, trend can change from here. Let's see what happens. And real quick, what is this? This is NQ. I want to just talk about Apple, right? Apple. Wow. Apple is holding the demand that we had drawn for days now. It held here, but the sellers were very active. Now, what I don't like is that we didn't break this high. We did not break this high, and Apple is going to open again in the demand. It's already tested. So for me, is the higher probability for it is not to work, right? The higher probability demand is down in 151. So it already worked partially, but I don't think it's gonna hold the overall trend. So this tells me that we might have some downside on the equity markets, right? I do watch Apple, I do watch other stocks, but because of the time, I just check Apple on here on the pre-market lives. Okay, so that's all we got for today. For now, I am neutral bearish still because of the movement of the trend on the daily, right? I am neutral bearish. I don't want to get impressed by this massive bullish candle from yesterday. And we'll see what happens with Jerome Powell speech today. And then we have Lagarde at 10:15. That's going to move the market. So we have to be aware of that. All right, with that, I'm going to close this live stream. See you guys in 10 minutes for the live trading session. Later.